Peace, y'all, and welcome back to another tea time. You already know the vibes, divine destiny. We're just gonna jump right in because a lot of people walking around here are spiritual sadomasochists and they don't even know it. And I know that statement is a little bit of tea, okay? So we're gonna jump right into it. Speaking of what you sipping on, I'm sipping on coffee again. It got me in a chokehold, okay? Because hey man, ain't nothing like that first sip. Anyway, let's dive into this. Okay, let's define what a sadomasochist is. Sadomasochism is someone who receives or gives pleasure through the application or experience of pain, right? And a lot of people leave that in like the BDSM world, but you know me, and everything is always that deep. So if we're really looking into it spiritually, a lot of people are out here either accepting or giving pain to other people, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, physically, even sexually, trigger warning. But a lot of people are out here inflicting and receiving pain from other people and just accepting it. Wouldn't that make you a sadomasochist? Okay, so let's dive into it, right? If you tuned into my last tea time, right, it was about life is suffering. If you haven't tuned into that tea time, highly suggest go back, pause, go back, tap into that tea time, because it's really going to connect a lot of things in this conversation. I might put it somewhere if I remember. If not, just life is suffering. That's literally what it's called. Go tap into that before you tap into this. But if you're here, we're here. Let's dive into it, okay? So it says suffering, connecting to life is suffering, right? We discussed how you can suffer in the cycle of comfort, of familiarity, or you can suffer in the growth, in the elevation, right? Recognizing that the cycle will continue and will perpetuate until you choose to step out of it. Right? And even in stepping out of it, there's still a level of discomfort, a level of suffering, because you're moving through those emotions, moving through those feelings, healing through them. You're no longer pushing them down or aside, right? You got to move through them, so you're going to feel through them, and that in itself is also suffering. So if you tap into that, you understand we're here, right? If you don't understand what I'm saying, go tap into the life is suffering video, right? Because we moving on. We're moving on. It says if you choose to continue on the cycle of suffering, we know does not serve us. On some level, we have to like it, right? Whether it's just you're comfortable in the familiarity of the situation, of the circumstance, of the experience, of that codependent relationship, of that habit, of that addiction, whatever the situation might be for you, right? If we continue to choose consciously, right? If we're here, you here, we are consciously already established that it is always a choice. Right? So if you choose to say, I'm going to sit here in this cycle of suffering that I don't actually fuck with. I'm going to sit here in this cycle of suffering, in this cycle of repetition that just doesn't serve me at all. Right? You're comfortable there. There's a familiarity there. So it's safe to say you like it on some level, right? Whether it's just because it's familiar or comfortable, there's a certain level of pleasure received, right? From that situation or that person or that experience to you, because you continue to allow yourself to be there. I don't know about you, but I know about myself. And if I'm uncomfortable, I'm gonna do whatever I can to rectify the situation, right? To bring myself to a level of comfort. So if I'm uncomfortable in a cycle of familiarity, I personally am going to choose to step out of that cycle of familiarity and go do something else that makes me more comfortable. Right. So if you're sitting in that cycle of familiarity because it's comfortable to you, it's the devil that you know, right? That's the saying that they go with. So if it's the devil that you know and it's comfortable to you, you have to, on some level, okay, you're into that. Let's just start there, okay? My notes say, if it's not an alignment, it's creating stagnation or rigidity in some area of life, right? If this cycle of comfort say it's a home life, a family, friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a cycle of comfort, of like, I don't know, anything could be happening in your relationships with people or in your home experience or circumstance that's like, I don't necessarily love this, but I don't know what would happen if I left this situation, if I left this relationship, if I stopped talking to this person. Am I gonna be lonely? Am I gonna be, you know what I'm saying? So we would just rather sit in the familiarity. You would rather sit in what you know, that constant, than to change something up and move into the unknown, right? So when you're sitting in that constant discomfort, it's creating stagnation, it's creating misalignment, right? Rigidity is what I said, in some area of life, right? Because if you're accepting things that do not serve you, you're not allowing your soul, right? You're not allowing yourself to grow, to expand. If it's not serving you and you're it's like sitting in back to the butterfly. Here we go. You know, I love this analogy, but you know, you're the butterfly sitting in that cocoon, and it's like you're sitting in that cocoon and you have already become the butterfly, and you're supposed to be stretching and expanding those wings, but you are scared of what is on the outside of your cocoon, so you just sit there. But eventually that cocoon is you're outgrowing it, because you're going to continue to grow and grow and grow and evolve, regardless of if you're sitting in that cocoon or not, right? You're gonna continue to expand, you're going to, and that's like on a personal level, that's like you feeling the itch, you feeling the desire, the need for more, right? You have a taste for more, spiritually, energetically, but you're not allowing yourself to outgrow whatever space it is that you find yourself in, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, you name it, right? Whatever that energy is for you that you're holding on to and sitting in is creating stagnation in some area of your life, because it is not in alignment. It's not allowing life to flow as it's supposed to. So it's creating some level of rigidity, which is creating some level of pain, of discomfort, of unease in some area of your life. And yet, a lot of us would choose to accept that rigidity, accept that stagnation, because of the comfort, right? Because of the familiarity, because it's the devil, you know. Generally, right, if you're not the one accepting the pain, you're the one inflicting the pain. Though I feel like those could go back and forth, two sides of the same coin, right? Like if you are accepting sitting in this uncomfortable familiarity of the same repetitive cycle that's not serving you, that's in misalignment, that's karmic, low vibrational, holding you back down from accelerating, elevating, and evolving, right? If you're consistently sitting here in that energy, you're accepting the pain, right? So the situation, it could be a situation or experience in which you're accepting the pain from, so it doesn't necessarily have to be another person, but there definitely can be another person that is, and maybe not even consciously, inflicting this pain upon you, right? Inflicting this suffering, this discomfort, right, upon you. Your spirit is calling to grow. Your spirit is calling to evolve out of this relationship, out of this friendship, out of this connection with this family member, or whatever it might be for you, if it's a person, right? And you are consistently choosing not to change anything about that relationship, or not to move away from that relationship or that friendship or that family member, you know what I'm saying? Even though you know for a fact it's not for you. Not only are you accepting the pain, but you're allowing it to be inflicted upon you, even if it's not coming consciously from that person. That person might not feel or even see the need for your growth or evolution, because that's not where they are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But your spirit is calling to grow, so that pain is being inflicted upon you by another person, right? That level of discomfort, of suffering is being inflicted upon you by another person, by that connection, by that relationship, and you're allowing it. You're accepting that energy, Okay? Why are we doing this? You can't tell me you don't like it. Yeah. It says, keeping yourself or another in a karmic, misaligned, low vibrational situation, relationship, experience, job, etc. Because misery loves company, right? So that person might not even notice that they are projecting their pains, their traumas, their heartache, their losses, their lack, their scarcity, their survival mode. They might not even notice that that's what they're doing because that's where they live. However, misery loves company. So if they're trapped in the lack mindset and the survival mode, do you know what I'm saying? Then they expect the people around them to also be trapped, because how the fuck dare you want to be better? How the fuck dare you not want to be scarce? Like, how the fuck dare you not want to be in lack? You know what I'm saying? So you're the only person whose soul is feeling the call to do something different, to move, to elevate, and you're allowing misery to be your company because you're choosing to stay in this situation. You are accepting and receiving the pain that is being inflicted upon you, whether from an experience or a situation. Sometimes you might even find yourself being the person inflicting the pain or the suffering on another person or experience or situation. Consciously or unconsciously, intentional or unintentional, it's still occurring. And to sit there and accept these things, to know that you desire more, you deserve better, and to sit and accept these things is accepting the pain. That's sadomasochism. We are accepting, receiving pain, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And on some level, there's a level of comfort, of pleasure, of approval that is coming from you because you continuously choosing to remain in that cycle. I'm just here as the messenger spirit. Thank you. I'm just here as the messenger to get you to tap into yourself, right? Are you accepting and receiving pain, discomfort, stagnation, rigidity in your life in any area? If so, why? Do you on some level like that? Are you on some level, your spirit is calling for you to get out of that stagnation, out of that discomfort, but on the physical, maybe mental, maybe emotional, you're stuck there because you are attracted to it. There are a lot of people who are attracted to chaos, attracted to toxicity, right? There are a lot of people who were raised up in chaos, raised up in toxicity, so it's all they know, right? That's like when you have been in nothing but toxic, unhealthy relationships your whole life, and that's all that has been projected to you. It's all that you've seen, and then all of a sudden you get into a healthy relationship, one that brings you peace to mind, heart, body, and nervous system. And you know how they say, like, when you get in those relationships, a lot of people run because they're uncomfortable with it, or they feel like something is wrong or something is missing because of the peace, because of the lack of chaos, because of the lack of, do you feel me? Right. So it's really, we got to start taking a deeper dive within ourselves, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Ask yourself, am I receiving and accepting this pain? Is it because it's all I know? Or is it because I'm attracted to it? And this is personally, okay? I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me, okay? Know that, like, I personally spent the better part of all my 20s dancing with the devil. Do you feel me? 1441 on my timer as I'm saying this. I personally spent the better part of my 20s dancing with the devil. I knew a lot of the situations that I was getting myself in, a lot of the relationships I was getting myself in, a lot of the experiences I had was I mean, it's necessary in the sense of like I am who I am now, right? But at the time when I was choosing to get into those things, it was because I had an addiction to chaos. What? The characters I chose to be around, I knew I didn't have no business around. Spiritually inclined, spiritually elevated. I've always been this person. I just didn't present as this person all the time. Do you feel me? So with that knowledge in myself, I knew I was being called to walk in different spaces, in different places, connecting to different faces. Do you feel me? And I allowed myself to remain in this consistent cycle of toxicity, right? Of chaos, of scarcity, of lack. Because I was comfortable there. Because it's what I saw. It's what I knew. It's what I thought I was supposed to accept. So I did. I liked the chaos. Like, you gotta be this real with yourself. Do you feel me? Like, you have to be able to look into yourself and be like, all right, so what part am I playing in the chaos that is happening upon my life? Sorry for that noise, my baby downstairs. What role am I playing in attracting this energy into my life? I'm accepting it. I find pleasure in the chaos and the toxicity, right? For me personally, as long as like I wasn't wrapped up in the drama, like I didn't have no part in it. I was just on the outside looking into somebody else's chaos, somebody else's drama, somebody else's toxicity. You feel me? I was fine with that. But what you're around is what is going to radiate in your own life. You know what I'm saying? And it was like I was fine with other people's chaos and toxicity and all that stuff happening in their life. So it occurring in my own and on its own level, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was acceptable because mine wasn't as bad as the other people. Do you know what I'm saying? Why are we comparing toxicity levels? Did you feel me? Like, why am I comparing my pain to the next person's? And just like, well, mine ain't that bad, so I'm gonna be all right. Nope. No, I had to step up out of that. And I'm here to encourage everybody else, okay? Look within yourself. Are you being a sadomasochist in your own right, on your own spiritual level? What is it that you're accepting and receiving in your life, and why? That has been the message, man. Thank you so much for tuning in and tapping in with me. If you like this video, everything you need from me will be in the description box down below. And until next time, say goodbye. Peace.